Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Tane Talks. I am your host, Tane, here to talk about Married at First Sight, Season 20, Episode 2. I had to bring the big guns for this one. So I have Aid with me. My Aid, my lovely Aid, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Tane?
Oh, I'm good. I am struggling to accept the new MAFS because I said I'm coming in with an open mind, but I'm good. The thing is, I'm entertained, Aid, but I'm also struggling to accept that we have a new format, we have new experts. It's not the maps that we know, and I just have to pivot with it. How are you feeling about it? Okay.
But it's like I feel like some of my dislikes maybe can be overcome. Like to me, I'm like, there's too many couples. There's
Yeah.
okay, this is gonna sound real bad, and I hope our previous mass people who I love so much don't take this the wrong way.
Okay.
I looked at these people and I thought, this is not gonna go well. These people are too attractive. Which means they were cast because they look good, not because they want to be married or are ready to be married.
I mean, and I think that's what they're going for, just hoping they can have both. There's people that are new and shiny and fit streaming, and get a new audience. And I want to say it's working, but I don't know if it's my algorithm. But there's a lot more people saying, should I be watching Married at First Sight? I think I should be watching Married at First Sight. That part I'm excited for people to find our show and watch the show. So maybe it is happening and it's working. But let me get some housekeeping out before we dive into the episode. Just a reminder, guys, patreon.com/Tane Talks. If you want to get bonus episodes, episodes that are ad free, and if you want to have video, you can go to patreon.com/Tane Talks. Also, currently running a special for the entirety of MAF streaming until August 27, where you get 50% of your first month. So you can get a gift for your friend. You could just support the pod, and you could not be a paid member and just be a free member of the Patreon. And you can participate in the chats where we are talking about this whole season, the episodes that are coming up. But for the bonus episodes, I am covering 90 Day Fiance, The Last Resort Season 3. Still very entertained by that. And on the regular feed, you're still getting fed. I have interviews up with Michelle from season 18, Clara from season 12. And if you want to see it on video, you can get that on Patreon. Also, I'm going to be covering the scripted show, The Polygamist. So that will be coming soon. And you can get all of that on Patreon. And that's it. Back
Yes,
to the show.
you should go get all of that on Patreon. I didn't even watch their season and I enjoyed Michelle's interview. And Clara's interview was also it's nice to catch up with people. And the distance of time is real useful. Real useful.
Yeah, it is our alums. So, okay. Do you remember when we used to do couples cam and then what was Jamie's show? Unfiltered.
Oh goodness.
We used to do the recap right before the episode, the good old days. So yeah. All right. We're picking back up with Marissa and Adam, who we left off where they were like, oh, we know each other. And we're like, okay. So they recognized each other. He says it was a couple of years ago at a bar that he went up to her, said she was beautiful. They exchanged numbers, but they were both just so busy at the time and they never went on a date. One, bullshit. Okay. Two, at least they got it right with the matchmaking on both fronts because they are attracted to each other. But I mean, I'm saying bullshit because what do you mean you were all both so really busy? Why did you take her number? What does that mean?
I feel like the way that that story was told, it was either you weren't meant to be, or you were meant to be now that you're back here. Like,
Hmm.
I could totally see, like, sort of a missed connection type thing. It just depends on, like you said, did they mean to,
Yeah. I don't know. Knowing what we know of Adam, I'm just he met somebody else and was like, yeah, I'll just go with the other. But he does ask to hug her, and they hugged. He claims that, oh man, ever since then, I've definitely thought about her, and he couldn't be more excited. Do we believe that?
it doesn't even matter. The fact that he's putting on the show is actually good enough for me. No matter what, I will give both of them credit that they are making the best of this I already met you situation.
I think they're in a better situation because it's someone they at least know. So it's easier when you know the person. They introduce each other. They introduce themselves to each other and say their names. But honestly, I think it would have been fun to see if they even still remembered each other's names and be like,
So that's funny.
Marissa, right? Steve? Oh no, Adam? Oh yeah. That would have been more fun if they went it that way. So he said that it was so long ago. Oh, she said it was so long ago and it was under a minute. And that's it. But it's not so strange, because we have had this happen on some seasons. Armani and Woody had met at some point. Alexis and Justin had swiped or saw each other on a dating app, right? Bennett and Amelia, they knew each other, and then Johnny and Bao, so I mean, it's bound to happen, so it's not
Sorry, going
so
back,
strange.
I don't think I knew the Amani and Woody.
They had met made like a house party or something. It wasn't anything like they'd seen each other. They hadn't like spoken,
Okay.
but they had seen each other or something like that to that
Okay.
effect.
And
Yeah.
did you mention Bennett and Amelia?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
I
And
was
then
still stuck on Amani and Woody, so I was like, wait, who else was there?
yeah, and then Johnny and Bob. So the efficient is like, well, simply share what's in your heart. And I think I was unclear, but I think it's clear now after watching the episode in full. Like, this is supposed to replace the things about me instead of coming from family and friends. It's supposed to come from you. But then I'm like, are they also the actual vows or a mix of both, maybe?
I think that they're not really doing serious vows. And honestly, this is one thing that I will say is an improvement. I like the idea that they get to introduce themselves and tell their own story. That weird
Hmm.
family stuff, it went either way. Some of them are really good, some of them are
Yeah.
really bad. But I feel like there's something to getting to tell your own story.
Yes, I agree. The thing about the well, when I didn't know what it was the vows, because Adam is like, I'm just like, I like vibing to the max. I'm like, imagine telling the story, and in my vows, I was like vibing to the max, but that's just Adam. So they do all the vows, they are married, but where do you stand, Aid, on the whole? Do you think it's a legally binding marriage, or do you not?
I thought that I had read that they were doing away with the legally binding marriages. When you guys were
Yeah.
talking about it, you and Brittany in the last episode, I
Mhm.
was like, I thought that was like an established fact that they weren't going to
No.
do legally binding anymore. But I don't know where I read it, what my source was, but that was my understanding. And honestly, I think it's a money saving measure. Paying for all these divorces, especially now that you got seven couples, but it also removes like some of the seriousness of this, to be honest. Like, if you're
Uh,
not getting married, then why we call it married at first sight? Call it commitment ceremony at first sight. I don't know.
because that's what the others do, the UK and Australia. But it's not fact. We're just spreading the rumors, I guess. And I keep saying I'm just gonna wait till Mass Fan tells us that it's fact or not. But my only thing I was going on was like again, I said Pascal did not say, oh, the only way to get out, not Pascal, Paul or Lisa Paz didn't say anything about it. But when I listen to the vows on this episode, they do say lawfully wedded husband.
Okay.
I don't know if that means anything, but also like even in the Australia, which is the one that I watched, they never say it's not a legally binding marriage. They don't talk about it. So if they are following that, they're not going to say anything about it on here either.
But the other thing is, like, internet, do your thing. If people, everybody's already found the freaking marriage certificates for everybody on 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah.
If there are marriage certificates, someone will find them.
Well, that's because the show's not yet at that level where people want to sleuth on the internet. Because you're right, we should know by now whether it is or not. So we wait. I think eventually we'll find out, but I'm still leaning towards the fact that it doesn't seem like it's a legally binding marriage. Like we'll see how the counseling goes with the experts because usually they say this is serious, this is a marriage, this is this. So we'll see how they handle that through the season. So they actually have a champagne chat, and I say that because I'm still disappointed that Mecca and Beljolie didn't have one. He asked a question and they just cut it off and went to photos, but they actually talk about it. And then we get clarity that the so long ago was just 2 years ago. They saw each other at a bar 2 years ago. So he mentioned again that, yeah, she was just a vibe. She said she loved his gift, but she's not going to lie. She didn't know what the red bungee thingy was. And he's like, oh, something to do with water. And in case you missed it, jet skis are his personality.
No.
Then he says, I was worried about the note that you sent me. You said something about reading, and he somehow made reading seem like it was a negative. He says, there's some people who sometimes they just stay and they read for an entire weekend. And I'm like, that's bad. I don't, what?
Let's just say that, like, I'm like, you and I would not be a match if there's something wrong. You either could not match with Tane either. Like, we, like, how could be anyway?
For many other reasons, but yes, we would not
Yes.
because put me in a body of water all day long. We're going to the gym. We're going with a jet ski. Put me in a regular car, okay? Call me an Uber and I'll meet you there. So
But
she
it's just
asked,
like, I mean, I get it. There are people who do, he needed someone who apparently doesn't like to read too much.
yes, the way he phrased it. Yes. And then I didn't like that she was also like, "Oh, don't worry, it was just a gift for the note." Like, girl, if you read, tell him that that you read, and he'll have to deal with it because he's looking for someone to fit into his life, but he has to make no adjustments. That's so annoying. So she's like, "Oh, did you do the shot that I gave you?" And he's like, "Yeah." In his sanctimonious voice, "I don't drink." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And in this moment, this is the first time like I really felt like she looked like Millie Bobby Brown, 11 from Stranger Things. I think I'd seen that before, and I was like, no, I don't see it. But somehow from this angle, I actually saw that she looked like her here. So she asked about his family, and he says that his family is not here. And Adam annoys me for many other reasons because instead of saying, like, oh, there was a conflict, they already had plans or something, or I'll explain later, they would have loved to, he's like, my mom and my aunt are in Budapest. My dad is God fucking knows where. My grandma is something. You're making it seem like they don't even like you and they don't want to be here. And Marissa's like, oh, they have priorities. And he's like, yep, they do. Why would you present your family that way as a first impression?
Because it might be true. Um, I I will agree with you that of all the ways that you could have presented your family not being there, because some later on someone else is going to present it very differently and it
Hmm.
works a lot better.
Hmm.
But his was just, it was, this man is just not that bright. Maybe it's the lack of reading or something. But of all the ways you could have said they're not here, they had an unavoidable conflict. This is a really difficult thing for them. They're just
Yeah.
not on board. Like, let her know what she's dealing with. Just, you could be honest and
Yeah.
have some tact.
I'm again trying not to beat a dead horse. It's very clear that this man is not a candidate to be matched, but they have decided that he is. Like, we have seen no redeeming qualities. I can say, not to spoil ahead, but at least Felipe had some redeeming qualities that I can say. But so far, everything Adam has shown me is still, why did we match this man? So that's why I'm not giving him grace because I can't. So they have an outdoor reception, and editing or not, when they're having a conversation with his groomsmen and they ask, fun facts about her, I think someone mentions that she likes to arm wrestle guys at the bar. And maybe it's just me. I feel like his body language just shifted.
Yeah, but they're doing a lot of things with editing.
Yeah,
There's
that's
too much
true.
editing going on. You
That's true.
I never actually believe so many of the reactions that I saw. It was really hard to keep up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of cut and paste going on. Um, they say cheers because they're talking about the naps and the mac and cheese, tequila sodas, all the things that he considers poisonous, and they're like, "Yay!" And I don't think he's happy. And I cannot believe it. They call this man to play the piano. I
That was
mm,
lovely.
it was
It was
sarcastic.
lovely because we already established that this man playing the piano is obnoxious to some people. Because last time Felipe, it was Felipe, right? Who was like, "This is too much piano."
Nick,
And
Nick. Hmm.
Um, so the way they play the music, the way her friends appear to be reacting, this is too much piano. But this lovely young lady is just like, "This is great. He's so talented." Like so much putting lipstick on this piano pig. Um, which is that it's really nice that he can play the piano. It
Yeah.
just seems like he doesn't know when to stop.
Nope. Nope. Because he is good at it. I'm not even gonna lie about that. It's just like, is this your party trick all the time? Like
Yeah.
we are going to have to deal with this for the rest of the season at your own wedding. And so then I have a question for you. I don't think I want to say what's worse, but which would you rather have? This obnoxious piano playing, because I do think it's kind of obnoxious because it's Adam and all the things we know of him, or Ikechi's performance with his wedding with MM.
I didn't watch that.
Oh,
I'll just go with neither. I
my-
also think this is my theory about this piano playing, by the way. This man knows, I would say, like no more than 7 songs. He's got 7 songs on lock. He don't practice nothing but these 7 songs. He doesn't learn new things. He doesn't compose his own pieces. He literally has just memorized some things like a party trick.
yeah, to impress people.
Oh.
You mean some Chopin? Again, Marissa is like, oh my god, I feel like I have to learn talents. Like now she's feeling like she subconsciously or not, like she's not good enough for him. Like he does all these things and she needs to keep up with him. And I'm like, nah, don't let this man make you feel this way. And that's my concern for them is that he's going to present himself as superior and she's going to believe it and feel like she needs to keep up with him. And I don't want that for her.
I yeah. She's not presenting as like a person who's really strong in herself and her personality and her choices.
Mm-hmm.
She's presenting as someone who's ready to be subsumed into his nonsense, and
Mm-hmm.
he's not enough to be worth that.
And I wonder if that's why they matched her with him. Because honestly, not to put a blanket matchmaking rule that we've seen so far, but it feels like there was a lot of focus on making sure the guys are okay, but not a lot of well, I mean, that is the pattern for most of the time, but it feels like at least in the past we've seen, oh, this person will calm her down or this person they'll match each other. This feels like even with the sneak peek there was just a lot of focus on the guys and it's like, oh, how will this person fit into it? And that's what I don't really like, and it's heavy with this couple.
Ugh.
All right, I'm gonna take a quick break and I'll be right back. All right, let us go to Tori and Felipe. Felipe was the one who gave me a very bad first impression from the sneak peek from the first episode, but then he got paired with Tori, who, what a gorgeous soul and a gorgeous person. And at the wedding reception, he's telling her that he runs a restaurant and how everyone at the restaurant is actually here at the wedding. The maid of honor, Macy, who is Tori's sister, gives her speech and said she just wants her husband to take care of her the way that Tori has taken care of her. So
Aw.
Jeremy, oh, what did you say? Aw,
I said, "Oh, because that's the sister who she's paying for college, right?"
yes,
Yeah.
and that's a gift, if nothing else. If anybody's embroiled in this student loan brouhaha, you know that that is a gift that she's giving her sister. So yes, that's cute. And I do think that that is the thing that they have in common is that family values. They're very much aligned when it comes to that.
And I will say that Felipe and the fact that he has so many people who genuinely seem to like him, he went up in my
Hmm.
estimation. I was like,
It
this
sure
is a lot
did.
of people who really seem to genuinely care about you.
Hmm.
Some of whom are related to you, some not. But I think he's playing in your favor.
Yeah, because I was like, what? I might coming around on him, but oh. So Jeremy, his best man, who's also his best friend, roasts him. And I do think this is where they've shifted the friends and family segment to in the speeches during the wedding, which I think is better suited. There's some alcohol in your system, everyone's feeling good, everyone's calmed down, you've met the people. So now you can throw in some jokes, but not at the altar when nerves are high. So I'm good with this too. So his friend rushes through this, but it was really nice. Some highlights from what his friend says is that the one thing about Felipe is how, since they've been in high school, he believes that inequality is a moral failing of American society. Brownie points, right?
Yes.
He has always been quick to tell his friend, that's him, how much he loves him, which is very rare, with men showing their emotions. And then he says, I love you. And then Felipe gets up, hugs him. I was like, yeah, I love you, man. And you can tell that Tori is like, oh, I got a good one. um Natalia, his sister, gives a speech, and she starts with, I didn't think the day will come. And then I think this is the first time I'm noticing Felipe's laughter. It's not laughter, it's he bellows. It comes from his diaphragm. And I think she mentions that in the speech, that Tori's gonna have to deal with that, forever. And the camera keeps panning to his mom. And I know earlier he had said that he was concerned about the person getting along with his mom. And I think they were trying to set us up for like, there's going to be some friction, because I couldn't tell at this point if she was happy, if she was sad, but the camera just kept panning to her. But it was a nothing burger. Like, she didn't really say anything. But overall, the speeches were nice. Like, it was just really nice. No one was trying to be too funny and say anything inappropriate. That's coming later with another couple. But they have a cute first dance, and then he calls his mom to dance, and then she hugs Tori, and it's like, this is sweet. His mom tells him, like, she's very sweet and this doesn't seem real, and everyone seems to be charmed by Tori, and she's nice. And he tells us that he's so happy and he could see himself falling in love with Tori. And that was it for them on this episode. I think we got a lot more of them in episode 3, but any thoughts? Any
I just,
final thoughts?
I mean, in this episode, Felipe like went up. He had been down, but he got
Mhm.
up.
Mhm. Mhm. We move on to Belgioly and Mecca. I will say, as of the last time we left them, I was like, I don't know how she feels about him. I didn't think she was attracted to him. She was giving nothing. I couldn't read her. So coming into this, I was like, okay, I like the pacing of this new season, but I also feel like they need to make the scene jumps more seamless. I've already talked about how they moved to the picture taking, and then we come here, and next thing we see is Mecca's dad talking to Belle Jolie. And I'm like, shouldn't we see more of Belle Jolie talking to Mecca? Actually, in fact, I think his dad got more screen time than
Yes.
Mecca.
Yes, we saw more conversation. We saw just generally his dad talking. We saw more of that than Belgerly and Mecca
Mecca.
talking to
Mhm.
each other.
Yeah. So I don't know, they could have edited that more better, but maybe that's what they're trying to tell us, the storytelling they're trying to do. So,
No, no, no. You know what? I will say this though. This is maths. We spent all this time with this dad. We will never see this man again.
this is new maps though, Aid. We know nothing. We know nothing of new maps.
Okay.
So we'll see. Um, so now we're dropped into this conversation with, in case you forgot, Mecca's dad's name is Logic. So Logic and Beljolie are talking, and Logic is still on the whole cheek thing and asking Beljolie directly, like, are you feeling him or what? And I'm like, that is a Mecca question. I don't know why you are jumping into this and why you're asking this for him, because he has his own mouth. He has his own things that he could say. So we find out that
Like,
Logic.
oh, it's not just, oh, he if it was one of Mecca's friends, it would still be annoying, but the fact that
Mhm.
it's his dad is worse.
Yeah. I mean, but little did we know at this point that it was going to get worse, sir. So, but we do find out that Logic is a principal. And I don't know what to do with that information, but he's a principal. So he asks her, from on a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you feeling him? And she goes 8 or 9. So I'm just like, okay, that's good. I didn't know the answer to that. So I feel better. Like, I feel relieved when they're attracted to their partner or they like what they see. So this is good. She says she loves his personality and it feels authentic. And he's like, so what were your preferences? What did you want? What did you put? And she goes, oh, I said I wanted an African American man. He was like, so you said you want a black man. I'm like, okay, let her answer the question that you asked. But I wonder if this was them filling in for Belgioly had a very, very short matchmaking scene. It was like 5 minutes, and then they told her, you've been matched, and that was it. So I don't know if they're just giving us more context at this point.
Okay. I mean, I think what struck me about this conversation is I'm watching it and I'm annoyed. She seems thoroughly charmed by Dad. He doesn't seem
um,
uncomfortable with him asking these questions. She's like ready to answer. She's ready. Like it's just an interesting thing when you're watching someone talk to someone and you're annoyed on their behalf and they seem fine.
Again, I feel like Belle Jolie is a hard read for me because I'm not confident in saying that she seemed fine. It's that situation where even if you're uncomfortable, what are you going to do? And you know that situation where something happens and you kind of freeze, you're not sure what to do, so you laugh, but you
Yeah, I do that all
really
the
are.
time.
So it's an either or scenario. Maybe she is comfortable and I'm here saying all this, but I'm reading it as it seems like Mecca not uncomfortable, but when he said that's my dad, that's how he is, and she's trying to make him feel comfortable that it's okay, your dad's not weird, I can deal. But I think she's also realizing maybe I don't know the depths of how insane this man is. And she's just realizing that she's just laughing and going along with it because it's her wedding day, but who knows? But I see what you're saying. So his dad is like, yeah, we have to get him out of the whole philosophy of who likes him. And I'm like, you see, this is the issue with Mecca. Mecca, I talked about it, is he's gonna need a lot of reassurance. It seems like he doesn't have a whole lot of self-confidence. We can see why. It almost feels like his dad is competing with him and he just wants to suck the air out of the room when they're together. And a little social media. Logic is trying to make his 15 minutes. He's like what was MM's husband's name? Brandon. He's probably going to be one of those people who puts MAFS in his bio, even though he's not a groom or anything, and he's trying to make it out. So, of course, he's on Facebook. And he's just talking about, I was going to talk about it later, but I might as well just say it. He's talking about, oh, the sanitation worker from a broken family is low key cap, that it's not true. They're trying to make a narrative. They're trying to make all this and make it even bigger, that a broken family is a reach and that would be called a foul on the basketball court. So basically, he's just saying that growing pains, amicable distance, and a planned separation is not a broken family. So our son Mecca and I took every opportunity to show our authentic love towards each other. Married at First Sight is now streaming on Peacock.
It's so funny that you're like, I'm not happy with how they portrayed me, but I still want y'all to watch. Um, I guess I think what anyway. This is skipping way ahead, but the 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 show only showed the things that this is how Mecca describes his experience. You need to go talk to your son, sir. I don't know why
Yeah.
you're blaming Peacock.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's blaming Peacock. He's just saying that, well, yeah, that's true.
Anyway,
Yeah. But I think I was reading that because when he's like, oh, we need to get him out of who likes him and talking about, Mecca's insecurity, one of the things he does say is, I guess I can't say that my son doesn't take crap from anyone because he literally does. And we're going to talk about his speech, at the wedding. And it just seems like there's a lot that even this is all Mecca knows that he doesn't realize that it's not okay.
yeah,
And this has affected his
self
confidence, and he thinks laughing really loudly and thinking that he's being funny is masking it, but everything stems from his dad. You meet people's parents and it shows you who they are. So that's what I was trying to say. It's just like they call it roasting and jokes, but I think it has made its mark on Mecca. So Mecca is talking to his boys about the kiss, and they're like, "No, it's the right step." And she liked him. That it's okay that it was a kiss on the cheek. And Mecca was like, "Wait, maybe that's not what she wanted to do, but maybe that's what she felt was right." And I'm like, "Why are we fixating on this kiss? Because of his dad? You think?"
yes.
Oh
This
God.
never felt like an organic thing that Mecca really cared about. This is something his dad started the discussion and now it's in his head and now he won't stop talking about it.
Mm,
And
mm,
I'm
mm,
like,
mm.
okay, I don't know why you're sitting here theorizing with your groomsmen. You could just go ask her.
Exactly. Like they spent their wedding, well, for the first half, apart. They were talking to everybody else but each other. And I didn't like that. So someone says, like, I think you guys are a match made in heaven. And Mecca's like, okay, match made in heaven, that's going too far. I'm like, at least be positive. You don't know anything. Your wedding day, just lie to yourself, even if you're scared. Just think positive. So they're telling him like he doesn't know how the he said he doesn't know how the night is gonna go, and someone was like, you should not have expectations. I don't know. He has smart friends, but instead of listening to them, he wants to listen to his dad. You know.
I did like his friends. I thought they were pretty good too.
Hmm. Hmm. So I don't know. He is giving me cause for worry, and the reasons why is I've never seen anyone overthink a peck on the cheek this much. He seems quite extra. And like I said, I feel like he's masking some kind of insecurity. And also, is he going to be the kind of person who outsources a lot of his decisions? In 2 episodes and how many minutes total that he's been in scenes, he's asked, so do I do this? What do I do that? Do you think this means this? What do you think, Mecca? Is there space for just your thoughts or just entertaining people's thoughts? So that's worrisome. And then all this is in addition to needing a lot of reassurance. So I'm worried. Beljolie is telling her friend that it's so funny how we're all different. I have my thoughts, but Beljolie walked in and she saw the confidence in him when she saw the braids. I'm like, okay. But when he turned around and he smiled, she tells him he ate me up. And her friend co-signs with a all these are signs and noises that Mecca is really attractive. They think that Mecca is really attractive. So
Mecca is
this
really
is great.
attractive.
He is.
But you know what I said. So is Bells Jolie. Like,
Yes. The hair did her no favors, but she's a very pretty girl.
I heard you talking about that. I don't think the hair was that. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's not
Ah,
that bad.
ah, I
Okay, so
really didn't. The combination, the dress, the hair, the big old Countess Luann necklace, wasn't it for me. So he finally goes to check on her and was like, "Hey, I'm just coming to check. Like, are you okay? Like, are you fine?" She goes, "Yeah." Then she's like, "Are you okay?" But that was it. I'm like, "Sit down, talk to your wife," but apparently not. Then they give Logic a microphone, and he proceeds to give a speech that to me was basically a roast. It could be a roast on Netflix, and keeps going on about how he was in the WNBA, how he wanted to be this. He never finishes what he does. It wasn't positive things. At the end, he does say, like, I just want you to be a good person. And he kind of lands the plane. But, when you land the plane safely, when you've been through like terrible turbulence, you're just grateful to be on land, that it's not really saying anything that you landed safely. And I don't think, I feel like he could have done better
I
with his
just
speech.
I think sometimes I don't engage enough with the world or something. I just felt like the whole he was trying to roast his son, and then it just veered to me into like I don't think people hear what they're saying. I'm
Mm.
like, isn't it impressive that you were practicing with a D1 women's basketball team?
No, because they
We
don't
hate
rate
women.
women. Yeah.
Like the world in general, like the fact that everybody, including Belgium, takes that as a joke. Look, I'm an everybody watches women's sports type girl, so I
Mhm.
just was like, in my mind, I was like, "Oh, I wonder if he ever practiced or with anyone who like made it to the
Through the
WNBA
main.
or
Mhm.
like no, this is like some sort of joke about women." I just didn't appreciate any of it. And I also didn't really appreciate the fact that it didn't seem like Beljolie or anybody else picked up on the fact that this was like misogynistic.
Insulting. Yeah. Because I mean, the audacity of men. Have you seen that video that went viral where this one person is like, "Oh, a track she ran college track," and he was like, "Oh, I can outrun you." And it's like you just think it's easy because you're a man. So automatically, like you don't know what it is to be an athlete. Like whatever. But yes, good point, Aid. But everybody was laughing. Beljolie many times was like, "Your dad is what was she saying? Insane or off the chain, unhinged. Your dad is unhinged. Your dad is unhinged." I couldn't tell if Logic was tearing up or he just had watery eyes and had too much to drink. It could be all of the above, but that was it. And then I don't know. I want to just say Beljulie's mom. I just feel bad calling her Violent because I
That's the
need
name
to.
that they put on the screen. That must be her name.
Somebody needs to pronounce it. Maybe it's Violent. I don't.
Maybe it's
I just.
Violin.
I need someone to say it out loud because I can't keep calling this woman Violent all season long.
I do think they're fated to be with a dad named Logic and a mom named Violet.
So like if they host brunch, it's like Logic and Violent cordially invite you. Wow.
And then I started thinking, are these like fake names just for the camera? But then why would we pick these as fake names?
Oh, that's interesting because Logic's Facebook name is Logic Amen.
Never mind.
Well, Mecca's name is Mecca. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, Aid,
Mecca.
but
I mean, Mecca is normal. I mean, I'm not really one to be calling names abnormal
yeah.
or normal. It's not really my vibe.
You
But
should it's like more like common.
there we go.
Yeah. Like it's more
I'm
yeah.
not surprised to meet a person named Mecca. I am surprised to meet a person named Violent, and I'm medium surprised to meet a person named Logic.
There's a scale. So yeah, her mom comes in there, gives a speech, and it's nice. Nothing really memorable, and that's all we have for Beljulie and Mecca. Any final thoughts on them? Okay. Well, I'll take a quick break and I'll be right back. All right. Nick and Courtney. This is who MAFS wants us to be very excited about because Nick is the familiar face and allegedly has been waiting so long to get married. We see the matchmaking. We already met Courtney earlier. She's 28, a bodybuilder. She says she does not want to be a bodybuilder because she does not want someone who is egotistical about how they look. I think you said this not long ago where you said when people talk, do they hear what they're saying? Because Courtney, are you talking about yourself? Like
Are you talking about your parents? Are you like who?
who are you talking about?
You or you know what? It would be so great if she would even just say, "Yeah, the people who I'm around are XYZ, but I don't want to be that and I don't want to be with somebody like that." When you just leave it with the way she says the statement, it's just like, "Well, then who are you talking about?"
Mm-hmm. And of course, the experts didn't say, do you think that about yourself? But no, we're just moving along. But she does say fitness is important to her. And if they play a sport, you can have me. Then we see Nick on a skateboard. And I've been wondering how they were going to introduce Nick to us. He tells us that he played lacrosse when he grew up in Kentucky. Then he played in college when he went to MIT. And she says, we're going back and forth because the thing that we're doing this season now is to prove to us that, listen, we match people to what they say, like on paper, is they say one thing and then they show us the other person saying, hey, I'm this way, like Beljalie, I'm a singer. And Mecca is like, I would love a woman who serenades me. So they're just doing the back and forth. So she says, and I quote, she wants someone that still drinks, someone that isn't going to make her wear a turtleneck, someone that celebrates Christmas, but isn't going to church every Sunday. Now, if y'all remember, she's the person who said she wanted someone with a neck. So the thing about Courtney is that she's very, very specific, which reads to me like there's a lot of relationship trauma that is coming through with this. She has dated someone who told her she has to wear a turtleneck and did not celebrate Christmas. So, and someone that has said, I don't drink alcohol. That's what it reads like to me.
I just later on, Courtney will say other things that are not, but might explain why she's ended up with some of these people who apparently ask these things of her.
You know, of your own doing, but I don't know. I don't think she needs to be more introspective. So like we have seen so far, like I said, Nick is saying something similar. He says, oh, I'm not so religious. Then we get there. And she says, politically, because they're the only ones that we see Paul say, so how about politics? Where do you stand? She's like, oh, I want a conservative. Like, I don't want a liberal. Like, listen, women should have a right to choose. But honestly, I don't know how people can't think conservatively, like from an economical standpoint. What is your fucking tax bracket? But Aid, I'm going to hand this one over to you because I was ready to rip my hair out one by one because what does this mean? Or perhaps wait, Nick also then says he leans conservative right now, but there are a lot more issues where he leans towards the liberal side. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? But then the producer is like, Can you give some examples? And he has none.
That's when I was like, these producers hate these people.
Did okay. But go ahead. When you watch this, what were your thoughts?
I was enraged because that's sort of the state of the world right now. These people who come on TV and just sound so careless. And we have to look. When someone says in the year, I assume this was shot this year, maybe it was late last year, doesn't matter. If you come and
We shot
say,
last year.
I am conservative, all I hear is, I voted for that orange guy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're like, but no, I'm a conservative who didn't, you better say that. But then you spout off, well, I believe in a woman's right to choose. Okay, well, you're not a conservative then. But how did you
Mm-hmm.
vote? Because you didn't vote for a woman's right to choose if you are a so called conservative.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I was like, the producers hate them, because why would you let someone say, well, I'm conservative about some things, I'm liberal in others, and you guys ask, so can you give us an example of one of each? And then you play the crickets music because he doesn't have any examples? Not a one?
Nick is not beating the plant allegations because the question still remains, why is he here? Like, no one is convinced that he is here to get married, you know? And, they're making all these jokes out there because they're asking, like, Peacock is promoting it. And think Nick said something like, oh, this is a part where I wished I had thought of, did he say a gay cruise or something? Something to that effect. But he's making jokes about it. And I'm like, it's a joke for you, but for some people, the choices that were made greatly affects them. We are all affected by this right now, by the way. So I don't know how he can even say that he's conservative, which is the part that I'm just very, very confused about. But it gets worse because Paul asks Courtney, where on the conservative spectrum are you on? And she's like, oh, give me a range. Like, what do you mean? And he says, January 6th. She says, can you remind me what happened? And he says, this is helpful. I think I might have screamed
I
on
okay,
both sides. I think
this
I
is
might have
what I
screamed.
got. This is what I got from that
Okay.
interaction. As
Okay.
there's multiple options here, Courtney. Feel free to pick them and let us know which one it is. First off, I thought that the way that the show was trying to say it was that Paul was saying, like, oh, if you don't say I was there on January 6th, then you're not too conservative. Um, but to me, that reaction means one of two things. Either this woman is dumb enough to truly not know what the January 6th reference is, or once again, these conservatives love to lie. They never want to be honest about what they believe or what they're doing or anything. Because if you know what January 6th is, you can say, oh, that was terrible. They should not have tried to overthrow the government. Or you could say, they didn't really do anything wrong. It's just been way overblown. But no, 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 you're not going to cop to any of those. You're just going to say, oh, what's that? Fucker. Sorry. Edit that out.
Deep breaths, deep breaths. No, I mean, yes, there's no good thing about this because the other thing is, if you're privileged enough for January 6th to not mean anything to you, let's go with the lie that she has no idea what that means. And you're saying, like, it means nothing to you. Can you remind me what happened? That means your head is in the clouds. That is something that affected a lot of people that we remember very, very clearly, that we never forget. So for you to have the privilege to, quote unquote, forget that something happened, that's unfortunate. That really is unfortunate. That means you go through life, and as long as you're okay, then that's fine. Because going back to that economical standpoint, I don't know how people don't realize, like, how many percent, 1% of the people are in this economical standpoint that benefit from this. And this seems to be the standing point. Like, yeah, I'm conservative, but when it comes to taxes, money, because even on couples therapy, we have a couple there where they're fighting about it. He says, um did he say conservative or Republican? Because that's also something that's very interesting when they choose to say I'm conservative, or if they choose to say I'm Republican. And they ask why, and he's like, from the money point of view. And I'm like, you are not in that bracket. They always lean that way, and then that seems to be the only thing. But let's talk about the things that affect people that are not loving thy neighbor. That's what's so frustrating. And just to be actually clear on the joke that Nick had, because I think Peacock posted the thing about January 6th, and he's out there joking and saying, and I quote, "I'm just annoyed I didn't think of a gay toner 500 joke at the time." So it's all a joke to him. He's out there commenting. He's like, "Oh, these episodes are so wild," and posting emojis and all that. And it just puts a bad taste in my mouth. Like, it's not, some things are funny. This is not one of the things that are funny, you
Yeah,
know?
there's nothing to laugh about. And also, I will say this: every single person who says that they're conservative for economic reasons is a liar to me. I just think that you can't come out and say that I really love the white supremacy. So instead, you're just like money.
Yeah.
And if you are really trying to convince me that you don't see the white supremacy in this day and age, please don't. Don't speak to me. Don't come near me.
I think it's more of like I benefit from what he does. But also I don't know why Paul chose that as the spectrum measure.
I actually
Yeah.
don't think it's a bad spectrum measure. I feel like I don't really like if someone says to me, and I people have said this to me,
Mhm.
I'm a conservative, I didn't vote for Trump. Like even as they're telling me they're a conservative, they want to make sure, and maybe it has something to do with me, but I do think there's something to say, like how you want to represent yourself when you say I'm a conservative or I'm a Republican. But you have to add on that second part, I didn't vote for Trump, unless you want people to think that you voted for Trump because that's what they are thinking. And why would you think any differently?
I just, if you believe in something, then say it with your chest and believe in it fully. If you think it's something you have to be ashamed of, then do you really believe in it? I j- Anyway, spending way too much time on these people, but that really got my goat. That was really just so frustrating. But you know, I don't, I'm not giving credit, but I'm glad we're in the stage where we are showing this on maps. Guys, if you're new to this show, there was a time they would never show this, whisper it, talk about it at all. Do you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I just think it's funny, like they show this, and I'm like, I maybe I'm a minority. Like
Hmm.
I'm just like, oh, you want me to hate these people, right?
Oh no, that is not. No, I think we live in a world where it's not, they don't do that for hate, actually. They're
They do it to show the
pandering.
diversity. Yeah, to make
Is
sure that
it
they get the
is it
full
that?
audience.
Yeah, they're pandering to that because we've seen that a lot. Some of the shows, the McBees and the Dynasty, and a lot of people just being more vocal about it. I think the problem is they're quick to throw out. I mean, we had the Love Is Blind season where that was a conversation, and they say it all the time. Even last season, that came up again. The problem is you throw out, "I'm Republican, I'm conservative," or whatever, but when you talk about explain what you mean or what you stand for, everybody's like, no one actually gives something of substance. Like, if, okay, let's just hear you out. What do you have to say? There's never a full explanation that makes sense. It's just throwing out, "I'm conservative," and then that's it. Nothing else. So, anyways, Courtney says that the last two partners have cheated on her and she doesn't want them, like she doesn't want, no, Paul asks her, "What is your reaction when they cheat on you?" And she's like, that I don't want them to leave. And I'm like, wait, they cheat on you and you're like, "Okay, I'll do better. Don't leave." And I'm like, whoa.
I'll
Is
give
that
her that. I
someone?
think she recognizes it's a problem that she feels that way.
Yes, but does that mean you're ready to get married? So she says it's a huge fear that someone will not love her every day. And, Courtney is a person, she has frenetic energy. Like, she's just always like, she's on caffeine a lot. So Paul tells her that she is compelling, but she doesn't believe it. And she's like, "Yeah, you're right. It just feels lonely." So, because she says the word lonely, of course, Nick tells us that it's been lonely the last few years. And people have perception of reality stars being self-centered and thinking that they're A-list celebs. His title card does not say that he's a reality star. It says he's a product manager. Then he finally mentions his reality shows and tells Paul that, "Sometimes I wonder if people want me or if they just want to tell their friends that they went on a date with Nick." And I'm like, "Nick, you're a deep cut." Like, even people who watch his shows are like, "I don't know who this man is. I don't remember him."
He's not, yeah.
He's not. memorable. Like I always say, I don't use myself as an example, but there's a
You guys know I love to read, and I sometimes share in some episodes what I'm currently reading. Every now and then, I challenge myself to read something outside of my usual genre, and that book for me now is House of Rain by Harley LaRue. It's a gothic romance novel that follows Salem, who ends up stranded on a remote island instead of going on her honeymoon. There she meets the mysterious Rain, whose family manor is filled with unsettling secrets. Then people start dying, something begins stalking the forest at night, and what starts as a forbidding attraction turns into a fight for survival. With the isolated island, gothic mansions, and the creeping sense that something terrible is always just out of sight, I was intrigued and creeped out. If you're a fan of supernatural suspense and dark romance with an unforgettable atmosphere, check out House of Rain by Harley LaRue, now available wherever books are sold in print and in ebook.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
no one knew him at the wedding until
Well,
later on.
yeah, I mean, some of the yeah.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
eventually.
I haven't watched any of his shows.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's a deep cut. Like I don't no, anyways. So Paul tells him that he has to work harder to prove that he's here for the right reason, but he believes him. And I'm like, of course you do, Paul, because we've had three red flags and you told him I have a match for you. You're ready. So Nick says he has a 9 to 5, he doesn't have an agent, he has no manager, he's here for pure intentions. And Paul is like, I've heard enough. He's excited that he's found him a match, and Nick is excited that he has a match too. So Paul says that this is Paul and Paz. Paul's concern is the number of reality shows that he's done, and Paz is like, "Oh, I like him," and she's like, "He comes from a great family." If you haven't heard it before, I don't like when people say they come from a great family because I don't know what that means.
There's no definition to great family, none whatsoever. They keep on saying it, but they don't provide a definition, so I get confused. Does that mean, oh, your parents are still together? I wouldn't count that as you come from a great family. Those two people might hate each other unless you told me different.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
what? Yeah, they kept on saying it. It doesn't mean anything to me.
How do you feel about Paz?
About what?
Paz, the second expert.
Oh, I was thinking that I really can't remember her name. She made no impression upon me. She never said a single thing that I thought I should comment on.
I'm I want to like her, but I'm not sold yet. Because Paul says his challenge is for Nick to be vulnerable, and Paz is like, yes, and that's mostly what she does. It's almost
Yes.
like she's deferring to him to, and she's a supporting character. I'm like, no, you're both new experts, like it's equal, like chime in. But a lot of what she is like, yes, yes, I agree, yes, and also she's so like eager or earnest, and I don't know what to do with that. So they say that there's an unfilteredness to her that matches Nick's filteredness. I'm like, oh, Nick is filtered? Oh, okay. So their wedding comes up. Nick's best man is talking. The man has some eyebrows on him. And Nick's twin brother is there. His other friend Matt is someone he was on the circle with him on his season, and he was also on the floor. So if you don't watch the floor, guys, you should. I really like that show. But his brother asked, "What if she recognizes you from your shows?" And he's like, "Oh, I prefer that she doesn't." And his brother is like, "I bet someone from the bridal party is gonna recognize you." So he's worried that he would be obsessed, but she won't be. As a sidebar, if her eyes are closed, Courtney sounds like Jalen from last season to me. I don't think you would remember. Or do you remember?
I
what
did watch
Jalen
that
sounds like?
season, remember? Oh,
Yeah. But do you remember? It's the
I
memory.
do. I see the I see the resemblance, but I wouldn't, it's not the exact same. It's not the exact same.
I don't think the resemblance in voice.
Yes, like
Oh,
the
okay.
I
Yeah.
think they have a lower register and a little bit of scratch.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I wouldn't say they sound the same though.
Okay. Fair. His dad comes by and talks to him, says we're proud of you, and Nick actually like tears up. And Aid, at this very point, do you think that Nick is here for the right reasons?
Do I think yes, and here's the thing though, I never watched him on his previous shows. I actually like I can't say I liked him because but
Mhm.
when he said that thing about how, oh yeah, I started every game when I was a freshman at MIT because that's how bad we were, like that
Mhm.
kind of self-deprecating humor and self-awareness, I can get behind. So based on because I have no prior history, I did
Mhm.
think he was doing, and a lot of the things he was saying seemed to be wanting to, like, I have to address that I've been on a reality TV show before, but it's not all who I am. I have a 9 to 5. Like it felt like either it's editing or what he said. It felt like he was downplaying that part. And so he did come off as genuine to me. He didn't come off to me as like, I want to be on reality TV.
Oh, I think that's very interesting. I didn't think about it like how people who've never seen him in anything would view him versus when you've seen him over and over again and he's like in the strategic like reality shows what the impression would be of him. So that's interesting from your perspective that he was coming off as genuine because the self-deprecation is basically his MO and he hides a lot behind humor and that usually annoys me about people because it's like you got to be serious at some point. You can't always be funny because you got to adult sometimes and especially when it comes to marriage. And I think that's my concern is how are we supposed to believe that you are taking this seriously and this just isn't one of your experiences? Like you did all of these shows because you wanted a new experience. How do I know this just isn't yet another one? And yeah, that's the concern. Yeah. Okay. I don't know how I feel. That's the funny part. I have all this, but with his dad, he just seems so genuine and so touched by his dad. And even when they told him that he was matched, I'm like, am I believing this? I know better than this, right? Or maybe I don't. So he walks in, walks down the aisle, and someone says, ooh, he looks like Tom Brady. I'm like, who?
It does.
Nick?
I mean, you know what? It's not implausible.
Okay, I tried. Looked, I squinted, I turned around, I did not see it. Nick is a good looking guy. So I'm not saying that he's not. I just don't see the resemblance to Tom Brady. Courtney's about to walk down the aisle. Courtney's dad comes in, and I gotta tell you guys, Courtney's dad is a silver fox. He's like giving a little Kevin Costner. I thought he was cute.
Oh, and he has like his name was Thane. He has a soap opera name.
Mm. Oh, I was thinking superhero, like a Marvel short for Thanos. I'm just kidding. But her mom, her mom looks like if anyone watched the show The Long Island Medium with Teresa Caputo,
Dang, dang.
deep cut.
I mean, I can see it now that you said it. It's a very distinctive shade of hair that doesn't
Yep.
really occur in nature at that age, so then is an option.
It stayed right up. Yeah. I think when she walked in, someone said, "Oh my God, she's jacked." I don't know who said it, but I was very in awe when her mom came in. I don't know that we heard her mom say anything, but yes. Um I forgot to mention that you know how their social media is open? Like they're just having a grand old time. All the ladies had like a watch party at a hotel. They're tagging the hotel. Thank you for having us and hosting us. Nick had a ask me anything and someone asked, "Why are you on a Seattle season when you live in Austin?"
No. This is what I get.
You guys.
This is what I get for believing.
and and the fact that he even posted it, I don't know. He started this by announcing that he was going to be a Married at First Sight on April 1st. So it's always been a joke to Nick. And then it's like, see, I was serious. But he doesn't really give an answer. He's like, oh, well, I don't know the answer. You tell me, or you wait till you see why. I'm like, what? What? I don't know. Was he living in Seattle when it happened and then he moved? I don't know, but that was the question that was asked. But I also can't remember. He has mentioned in these other shows where he lived, so I don't know. But just dropping that for you guys to know. So they do all the things, do all the vows. Before they even say it, they go for a kiss, and then they're like, wait, no, Nick, you may now kiss your bride. Then they do kiss. I think my memory serves that they didn't say this is your lawfully wedded husband. I'm not sure. I don't want to quote that in case that's wrong, because for some, I was listening to each of them. Some, it was definitely mentioned. Would you take this person to be your lawfully wedded husband or wife, or whatever? For some, I did not hear it. So I don't know if some of them are legally binding and some are not. I don't know. But she says, he's sexy. The experts did good. I don't think Nick said that about her. He didn't say opposite, but we didn't hear anything about that. So they chat and they talk about what they do. Were you as surprised as I am that she actually says, "Oh, I work for Oracle," outright?
Yes, I was like, did Oracle agree to this?
Yeah. If for
I
those of
assume
you,
they
for those of you who watch Potomac, remember when the whole Wendy thing and Johns Hopkins were like, "We are not affiliated
Well,
with them."
that was more like it came part of the storyline. It wasn't in it was storyline related, right?
Um,
Like
I
someone had
can't.
mentioned John Hopkins as part of an argument, which I think is why they felt the need to defend themselves or something.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Cuz I know someone who works for Oracle. I just if you're trying to stay employed, I feel like you do not mention your employer on these shows.
Just to be safe too. And also, fans can be rabid. And if you do something and they start calling your job and everything, it's just why? But yeah, that was surprising. So she's telling him like, oh, like working out, like her family's into bodybuilding, she's into it, that it. I'm like, if someone tells me, "Oh, my family's into bodybuilding," I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, that's pretty impressive. Like, is it really hard? Your diet?" Nick just cuts her off and is like, "Well, what did they think about you doing this? It could be editing, but that was what was shown to us." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Are you listening or are you nervous?" Maybe he was nervous. I'll give him that.
And he did ask a question. Like he didn't bring the conversation back to himself or anything. He just
Yeah. He just said, "What do your family think about them doing this?" So she asked the same thing to him, and then this is again why he's not beating the the allegations. He's promoting Netflix, I guess. He's like, "Well, my mom was eased into this because she's watching Indian matchmaking on Netflix, so that eased her in." So she's like, "Oh, how about your friends? What did they think about it?" And it was like, "Yeah, I've done a reality shows," but it was like, "Oh no, it wasn't a dating show or anything." And I'm like, "What?
Perfect Match is definitely a dating show, right?
Why? Yes. Why would you say that?" He was like, "No, it was like a something called The Circle." I'm like, "It's not one, not two, it's three." But he also made it seem like it was singular. And then he goes into detail and is all like, "Oh yeah, one of my gay friend who is here. Why are you calling your friend my gay friend?"
Well, okay. I thought that
Okay.
too, but then he
Okay.
continued. Remember, I have not seen anything. I don't know anything. So when
Yes.
he continued the story, I was like, I can kind of understand why you mentioned that he was gay.
Yeah, Abe. But then you say my friend who was here was catfishing and playing like his best friend Ashley, and I was having a showmance with her. Turns out when he came out, it was a guy, and he's actually even gay, so it wasn't even anything. But to say my gay friend to me is a choice.
It is a choice. It's not a good choice. I guess I'm just determined to let this man get away with everything for a while.
Well, I just think like I don't know if it was pushing a story because we know Miss Ma'am is conservative. Again, we don't know the spectrum, which is another reason I had the issue with January 6th. That tells me like it tells me something, but it doesn't also tell me all the things in between. How do we feel about that? Where do you stand on that? I don't know. She gave nothing in her reaction. She was just like, "Oh, no way. They're here? That's funny." But I don't know how she feels. But I mean, I do feel like I think I would have compared this to David and Michelle. I think you didn't watch the season, but where David was just like spitting out all the information at the champagne chat. The difference is that with Nick, it was organic. She's asking questions and he's dropping all the things like, "Hey, I have been on a few reality shows. Well, he lied and said it was one, but he's dropping all the things and it seemed like the right time versus just dumping everything on her. But she does say, like, hey, even if it was a dating show, it's fine. But he still doesn't say, well, yes, one of them was a dating show. So there's
What
that.
I found, well, interesting, knowing that he had been on The Perfect Match, thanks to you,
Hmm.
was that if someone says, "Oh, well, your parents freaked out," and your thing is like, "Oh, she watched Indian Matchmaker on Netflix," which is
Hmm.
not the truth. The truth is, she probably was like, "Oh, another show." But
Hmm.
even this is gonna sound strange. The fact that he's trying to hide those things is another kind of point of like maybe he really actually wants to be married. Now, starting with dishonesty, I can't recommend.
In
But I
my
just
head. Go
or
ahead.
he's trying to hide from her the fact that he's not taking this as seriously as she is. But I just find it interesting that he's trying to downplay this thing. Like this is him downplaying it because he doesn't want to say it. Why? Because why does he not want to? Because he's a liar. Because he doesn't want her to know, or because he actually is taking this seriously.
But it's a dumb lie. It's like
It is.
hiding, like
She's gonna
lying
find
that you're,
out.
oh, I'm not pregnant, but the pregnancy is going to show
Yeah,
eventually.
I don't dispute that it is a dumb lie. I, the man was,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I said I didn't say the man was smart.
I didn't even think about all of that. My pessimistic mind was like, oh, okay, product placement. He's hyping Netflix because these seasons come out later on Netflix. Now you got Indian matchmaking and MAFS at the same time. I was thinking because I didn't understand any of it. So then he says, "Oh, she's beautiful. She handled that well." And I'm not going to lie. At this point I'm thinking, "Oh, they have chemistry." This at this point because I think I switched later on. But at this point I thought they had chemistry. He does say, "I am very attracted to my wife." And then they cheers. And they get to the wedding, they're at the reception. Aid, how fitting is it that the first glass clinking of the season is when you're on the pod today?
It's fate,
It's fate.
uh,
Tradition.
tradition,
Meant to
annoyance.
be.
Please continue.
So then they kiss, and she did not know what that meant. She was like, "Is it a speech?" And he's like, no." He whispers in her ear and tells her what it is. So the friends come up, I think because maybe it's gone too long and no one said anything. And producers are probably like, okay, bring up the show. And friends ask, like, oh, did you recognize him from the show? And they start joking and they were like, oh, he was on a show. It was Drag Race. And she's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like, we're big car people. My family, my dad does. And they're like, no, it's not cars, it's drag queens.
Was there like an
And
element with his friends of like, oh my god, she's so dumb?
I think it's probably just funny because I think she's still nervous. I give them grace for their first day. They just met this person, they're married, it's a whole thing. And she's trying to fit in so bad. And I like I said, she's a nervous Nelly. She's just frenetic energy. And she's
I'm
all like,
just the way the friends came off to me. They were just like, why do you not know this? Like, no, they weren't like, oh, that's so funny, Jack. They were like, are you stupid? That is the vibe I was getting from the friends.
but she does give that she's not really into like pop
Pop
culture or
culture.
things like that. Yeah. And
And they were
things.
probably
And
looking for someone because they definitely didn't want anybody who would recognize him from
that's
the
true.
stuff. That I'm sure that was a point in her favor.
That is true. But anyways, I'm just thinking again, where on the spectrum of being conservative are you? How are your thoughts on drag queens? Because here we are. So same thing goes to Nick too. Because if Nick is saying like a lot of the things is I have liberal thinking, but I lean towards being conservative, what does that mean?
He
Considering he says
doesn't
he has a lot of
know.
gay
They
friends.
asked him and he does not know.
Oh God. Anyways, he does mention the TV shows, and then she says that I would be lying if I said I wasn't curious to know why he wants to do this again. But I guess we'll see what happens. So that was it for Nick and Courtney. I think that was the most anticipated meeting for me. I just wanted to see how they were going to introduce him, if they were going to even mention it. And that's out the way now. All right. We got Michelle and Cameron. Cameron is 37. Michelle is 34. Again, the socials are open. Michelle had a thing. I think in the first episode they said she was 28 or something. And she's like, I don't know why they said I was 28. I'm 35. I mean, she's 35 now. So I think they fixed it and they told her she was 34. Here. So there's that. So everyone wants someone that's into sports. And guys, Michelle is so pretty with her dimples and everything. It was sitting there with her friend. It was also a very weird introduction to her because she's sitting at like a dining table with her friend, and they're sitting there with, I don't know what vegetable it was, but it was a giant head of leaves or something, and like a giant strainer just sitting. I think they just threw things together. That was so weird. And then randomly, her friend is just like, "Oh yeah, you're so serious," and then, "Oh, you froze your eggs." I'm like, "Whoa!" Like, okay, I don't even know a lot about Michelle, and they talk about it, and then she tells us that she was diagnosed with fibroids when she was 26. So she was just being proactive and then she decided to freeze her eggs. She doesn't want to find her person at 40. Dr. Paz is like, and we know she's so ready because she froze her eggs. I'm like, okay. And if you listen to my, oh, go ahead.
Tane and I have kind of had this discussion before. I have fibroids. I know so many people with fibroids.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of treat like everybody's fibroids are different. Everybody
Yeah.
has different experiences, but I don't. They have been major in some ways, not so major in others. I've not really heard much about fibroids and fertility. Like I've heard people who
Oh, it
have
is a thing.
like you have to take the fibroids out before you can try to get pregnant. There's just a range of experiences. So it's always
Yeah.
interesting to me when someone's like, "Oh, I froze my eggs because I had fibroids," and I'm like, "Can you tell me more?" Because
Yes. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, because it's not to me, it's not like a common thing to freeze your eggs because you had fibroids. That's an exceptional
Oh,
case.
it kind of is. And I'll go into detail because the thing about the fibroids is like usually they even advise you not to take it out because it'll just grow back. But a lot of the times for people who have severe cases, the thing about fibroids is one, the size and where it's located. So if it's located in a place that is really like, wherever somewhere close to your ovaries or where it's located in your uterus or things like that, you have to take it out. And sometimes that affects some parts that need to come out. So it all depends on all that. So I think in her case, it was probably that serious. And for some, like you can't even carry because the fibroids are fighting for space with that. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of things that it is somehow, kind of relates to that. But in her case, if anyone listened to my sneak peek, I did mention that one of the brides recently, again, socials are open. They're telling us everything, had a hysterectomy. She is the one I was referring to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think she has like a severe case. Like again, we don't know details and all that, but she's the one I was referring to when she recently just announced that she had a hysterectomy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was super interesting.
Yeah. I am glad for her that she got to freeze her eggs because the other thing is like, it's a thing where everyone talks about, oh, go freeze your eggs, go freeze your eggs, but people forget that it costs a lot of money. Not everyone has the privilege of doing that. So when people are in the situation where they can do that, they can afford it, it's a privilege. And I'm happy for her that she is able to do that and is still able to have a child if she chooses to, when she wants to. So they want to pair her with Cam. I can't remember who said it. Might have been Paz and she or Paul. He was like, Cam is him,
What
but
is
he doesn't know he is him.
ah
Can you guess what Paz said? Yes.
yes. He is him, but
Because
he
that's
doesn't
all
know he's
she
him. I'm not gonna lie. The
Yes.
first like minute of us meeting Cam, first there was the way he looked.
Matt.
Then they said basketball. Then they said he's really, really tall. I was like, oh my God. Then they said
Deja vu?
he has a job. I was like, thank you, God, this is a different man.
No, they would never bring that man back, and he would never go. He has a record now. So, well, that hasn't stopped him
Not that they
before,
would bring
but
him back. It was just the vibes, you know? And
yes.
it's like he can't help the fact that Matt, thinking of Matt and thinking of Matt's vibes is like the worst possible thing that could happen on maps to a person. You know what I mean?
Yes, they have twin auras. So then
But then
they
he had
tell
a
us,
job. He had a job, and I was like, okay, he's not him. He's not him.
well, I mean, first of all, they said, oh, he played ball overseas. And I'm like, oh, so he couldn't hack it here? I'm just kidding, guys. Good for him that he played ball overseas. But he has never been in a long term relationship.
So that
See,
wasn't a point in his favor.
ugh, stop it, Maps. Like, we're getting used to, you gave us, no, everyone has had a butt so far. Have we matched with anyone who's like, you know what? I get a good vibe from them. Everyone has been like, maybe not. But he's like, something about it has to be special to jump into. And I'm like, you know what? I'm the one. This was the point. I made a note to myself. I'm the one who needs to get with the program. This is just about vibes. It doesn't need to make sense. We're not looking for anything. We're just going to go with whatever this is. And the thing is, I'm not knocking him or judging him for not being in a long term relationship. I mean, maybe, but I just don't think MAFS is the place to come figure that out or to have the first relationship. And also, there's someone attached to this journey. So, like I said, it feels like they're catering to the men. So he may be able to find something, but he's gonna have to figure that out with somebody else attached to it, and she has to go through the motions with him. I can see them having a problem, and I can see them saying, but you have to be patient because this is his first real relationship. And I'm like, did she ask for that? Ugh. So, anyways, so then we see Michelle crying, and she says like she always finds these unavailable guys, and she feels so needy, wanting commitment. Therefore, we see Cameron saying like, "I'm just ready for that commitment, and I just want to dive into it and give it to it." He said something about when he's ready to commit, they usually see that as a negative, like he's doing too much, and I'm like, okay,
It's the
we'll go
same
with
thing
that.
as this one talking about. I couldn't find anybody because they all wanted to party. You just look at someone sideways and you're like, I just do not believe that to be the case.
Exactly. Yep.
Or why were you, what kind of situations, what kind of conversations were happening where you wanted to commit to somebody and they didn't want commitment?
Well, they have their wedding. He is with his family, his mom, his dad, and his sister. His sister is Asian, so fair to assume that she's adopted. Oh, I didn't mention Michelle is Asian. So, yes, Michelle is Asian. So, his sister, I assume is adopted. They didn't say anything about it. This is me just assuming. She says that he's never brought anyone home the entire he's whole entire 37. How old is he? Yes, 37 years old. So she is with her family too. They're asking her what she wants. She's like, she wants a guy's guy, a brunette. She mentions children. He mentions children. But she mentions that her dad is private and very camera shy. He didn't sign up for the process. And so I guess he's going to be few and far between for us to see him. So it's time for the wedding. He's on
I
the
thought we wouldn't see him at all. And then we saw him and I was actually confused because I was like, I thought we wouldn't see you, but we do see you. You're participating in a very limited way.
damn it, you spoiled the surprise.
I mean, it was the people have seen it.
Yeah, I know. I set it up. I'm still gonna say some people don't watch Aid. You forget
Okay.
that.
All right.
So it's fine. Yes, her dad was there, and that's why the way she set it up, which is why I don't know why they included that. But I mean, she could have just said he's gonna be at the wedding, and it doesn't seem like she was surprised because she would have been like, "Oh my god, Dad, you showed up." She knew he was gonna be there. So
I assume we'll never get to see him speak. I think that's where we draw the line.
okay. So she comes in a chariot, and everyone's like whooping and hollering. And then she comes down. He tells her that she looks amazing, and then he claps. No Eris. It's not like in the way of Eris, but he does clap. And she tells him that you look handsome. So the officiant says, Michelle, meet for the very first time Cameron. And there was just silence. And it was awkward because I don't know what the officiant expected them to do. They had already introduced themselves to each other. So how are they supposed to know that they were supposed to introduce themselves again? Like, didn't they have a wedding rehearsal? I guess not. So they do the whole thing, they do the vows, and he doesn't ask. He just goes for the kiss, and they kiss back. And his sister yells, "Keep on kissing!" And I'm like, oh, that's cute. So they're in the reception, they're talking, and she's like, "Oh, is there anything I should know about him?" And then the friends just start saying all these things. Fun fact: Willamette University is the oldest university, something something. He was the best player to play in Willamette. He guarded Steph Curry in the pro am. He's a beast in basketball, and he was on YouTube, something something. And I'm like, guys, you realize that you're saying all these things, but he's such a beast. He didn't make it to the NBA, and I don't know, like, hype
I
your friend.
wouldn't go that far. He's such a beast he didn't make it to the NBA, but it's just like
No, they
I don't
didn't
know.
say he didn't make it to the NBA. That's
No, no,
me
no.
adding that. Oh, okay.
I know, but I just mean like I too found his friend's little recitation a bit annoying. Okay, I'm like, what does being the oldest university have to do with like the number of players who have made it to the NBA? The number of players who have won like a NBA MVP award? Like, who cares that William Egg University is old? It was
Well, it's old. Well, I think he was trying to say, like, not that, like, there's so much opportunity for the record to have been broken, but also how are they measuring the best players? But also, if they've never had a player in Willamette make it to the NBA, what are we gauging here?
and who cares that they're old? Like his friend. I just thought this whole thing was stupid.
Yeah.
I felt like there was a point in there that he was trying. He could have really just said he's a really great basketball player. One time he guarded Seth Curry, and else that would have been enough. It was all the other stuff that was extra.
Oh, I never mentioned. You said he had a job. His job is that he coaches a community college, and he won best coach, I think, coach of the year last year. So they were talking about the whole thing, and Michelle is like, "Oh yeah, when they asked who my crush was and stuff, I said, was this here? No, that was later on.
Yeah,
Yeah, later on when they get in the hotel room. But anyways, so it's all nice, but at the same time, I would take this exaggeration over roasting your friend, like at the
sure.
expense of your friend and saying all these terrible things. But
I, yeah, I want you to say things that make me believe that you like your friend, if
yeah,
nothing else.
yes. So they have nice things to say. All right, our final couple. Pastor Cal, oh, sorry, Dr. Sean Best.
Don't even. Don't even.
Dr. Sean Best.
There's just one thing because I don't really. So with Michelle and Cam,
Yes.
her dad did write this very very nice letter, and I was like,
Yes.
what a contrast. You read the whole letter. It was too long. What a contrast of like my parents not gonna be here, but this is how they're choosing to support me versus they're hiking. like that stuck out to me.
Yes, you're right. Which also the whole note, and then he showed up at the wedding because honestly, maybe she didn't expect him to be at the wedding, but that was nice for that. All right, so Dr. Sean Best is 48 and Nikki is 46. They are a black couple. Nikki is such a cutie, very soft spoken too.
Yeah,
And Dr. Sean, oh, what'd you say?
I just said yeah. She's very soft
Okay,
spoken.
you're doing your best, Dr. Paz.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry, sorry, sorry.
No, you're fine. No, don't apologize. It's not bad. Well,
It
for
is bad.
Dr. Paz, for Dr. Paz. So he is very educated. Besides looking like Pastor Cal, do you watch Married to Medicine?
Yes.
Do you know Dr. Greg
Yes.
Lunsford? Yes,
Yes.
he
He
reminds me
does. He does.
the voice and the look. So you guys, looks don't matter. They say I think it matters on a show like this. I don't think he's ugly. I'm not talking about that. The man is 5'6". I just think that that's a risk. Every single woman that we have seen in the matchmaking special has said they wanted a tall person. They asked Nikki, what would you like? She said the usual, what everyone wants, someone who's taller than me. But then she made a mistake, and I will get to that because this is how they get you
Yes.
on
This is
maps.
how they get you on
This
math.
is how they get you. She said, but she I've dated people who are shorter, but they made up for the height in other things. They were amazing in other ways. And I'm like, Nikki, no, they are looking for that loophole. So I think that he has been motivated for a reason. This is Dr. Sean Best. I don't want to say that is his height, like he's trying to overcompensate for it because I don't know the man, But for someone who has this much motivation, like I want to do this, I want to be the best, I want to do that, and whatever, I feel like there's something that motivated him. There's a cause for that. That's what I want to be curious as we get to know him better to find out what that is. There is a driving force for that, and I want to know what that is. Nikki does say that she wants to have children of her own. She doesn't know if that will be the case, but nothing is impossible with a little prayer and science. He does say that he's open to adoption. Ugh, he mentions a honeymoon baby. I shouldn't say that because Woody said that, and we like Woody, so shouldn't judge him. Then
It's
he's
funny. I saw that as a positive because I'm like, they're
mm,
in their mid late 40s. There's not a lot of time here.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know, but they gotta know each other. They just
It-
gotta bring them to a good environment. That's always my fear. Is like, yeah, you can't. You know what? Jeff and Shawnee's made it. They'll be fine. So he says that Lisa Leslie is his crush. And then he explains to us that he was a PK, he was a pastor's kid. So it was very interesting how he worded this. He was sexually deprived. And it wasn't until he was like 28, 29 when he began to discover his sexuality or sensuality. And Dr. Paz is like, oh, I'm just going to assume you lost your virginity at 28, 29. He goes, no, that's not what I mean. I'm like, oh, okay. That he lost it at 21, but he didn't have sex till he was 29 again when he was 29. Any thoughts?
okay. I didn't think it. I thought that it was pretty on track for someone raised with purity culture nonsense. I wish that we did more talking about the damage that purity culture does to men. We talk a lot about women, or maybe the
Mm,
spaces I'm in talk a lot about women, but not enough about men. Because then it's like he probably had some sex that he really regretted when he was 21. Unnecessary
mhm,
regret, if you ask me.
mhm.
And it took him till he was 28, 29 to be like, I don't actually have to listen to what the church says.
Yeah, and then go for it. Okay, so then his red flags for me start showing because all of a sudden he's like, listen, I do all this. I dated the first black Miss Massachusetts. I dated the first black Miss Pennsylvania. I'm like,
That was weird as hell.
so
I
weird.
was
Like
like,
he
were they
speaks,
trophies?
yes. Also, I wanted to Google who the first black Miss Massachusetts is, where I didn't get to, but he basically speaks in accomplishments, which is why I say, like, there is something that is his driving force, and he feels like he needs to prove something. But I don't want to put it early on him that it's, oh, because of his height or anything, but I don't know his background, but something about him feels like he needs to conquer things.
Yes.
So, yeah, so this is when they ask Nikki what she wants in height because I think at this point they know they want to match him with they want to match her with Dr. Best. And she's like, yeah, I want a 6 feet man, but I've dated men and all that stuff. Then they ask her income. Um, this happens every now and then throughout MAFS, but they flat out ask her income and she says it out loud. She's the only person that has been asked this and has been asked to say it out loud. And she says 250K to 350K. They ask what her minimum range is. She says 250K. He says, do you know what the average income is in America? Well, is she average? Why are you asking her that stupid question? It's 64,000. She just told you she makes 250. What has that got to do with the 64,000? Like this really annoyed me, but let me finish with this because he says, why is that not he said why is 200 not acceptable? She's like, I worked hard to be where I am and I've been in situations where the earning delta would make the men feel like they're emasculated, and she's like, okay, fine, I'll be open to 200. And I hate this for her because I feel like she got cornered into accepting this.
Yes.
You don't agree? That was
Okay,
a
first I
long
have many thoughts.
yes.
Okay, let me
Okay, go ahead.
First off, I really am annoyed with this whole line of questioning. They didn't show this for any of the other couples. I don't like that they did this to a black woman. I am sure that plenty of the white women were like, I make X and I want someone who makes X too. I believe that. But you didn't show that. You only show her. Is her number higher? So maybe that makes it more newsworthy? Okay.
Yes.
You are casting for the show. If you don't have anybody with that income after she told you that's what she wanted, why are you now challenging her on that? You can say Yeah, you have standards. You know what? We can't find anybody for you who meets that number. That is an option available to you. But
Mm-hmm.
she is not supposed to compromise her standards to make you feel better. And the
Mm-hmm.
fact that her reason makes so much sense. She's done the whole let me date somebody who doesn't have as much money as me, and now they're mad at me because I make that money. No, I don't want that anymore. That is a reasonable request.
Yes.
Anyway,
That's exactly how I feel. And I don't want to say like the reason why I said like they've done this before in season 18, that's what they did to Michelle, where she says, "Hey, I want someone who makes this," and Dr. Pia kind of pushed her and she was like, "Okay, maybe I'm flexible," and it didn't turn out okay because it turned out that they were not matched, financially, and it was just a whole mess that led, for other reasons too, led to the cheating, but that happened. So we've learned from that. Why we're going to do it again, I don't know. And the thing is, like, they ask him, he's like, "Oh, I've historically dated people who make more than me." I'm like, okay, they're in Seattle. Find someone in her tax bracket.
or don't find someone and don't cast her on the show. That's okay. And you know
Yes.
what? I wasn't too mad at the idea that 200 might be okay. I could,
Yeah.
yeah, that I think presenting that as an option is acceptable, and I don't think she would truly have a problem with it. I
Hmm.
guess it was good to check on that, but I don't understand why the 64 number ever even entered the conversation. She's above
That's
average.
that's why I feel like she was cornered. Like, why were you saying all that? Like, the way you
How
said
dare
it,
you?
like, wouldn't you like present it like, "Hey, like, okay, that's fine. I respect what you want, but the person we're kind of thinking of is in the 200 range. Is that okay?" But not like, "Do you know the average is 64? Do you know?" Like, it feels like a guilt trip, and that's what I didn't like. And also, they did not make him say his income out loud. Why?
Even though based on his job, I'm pretty sure his income is great. I wouldn't be
So
surprised if it's pretty close to hers.
yeah, but why didn't they just make him say it too so we can be
Right?
more assured and know that it is? But he's all like, "I feel comfortable enough, we know," and all that. So I don't know. I'm also curious to know what her requirements were. For, well, more in depth, because some people got way longer introduction in their matchmaking, and then some we just didn't get enough of. But I would like to know more of her things. More, I'm interested because she mentioned the salary, she mentioned the children. I would have liked to know more things that she asked for.
Can we do a
So
little side
Paul,
diversion?
yes,
So you posted something today that I actually found really interesting. So it was,
yeah,
yeah, Paul posting about he's done the show in the UK,
yeah,
and in the UK people he basically said they don't care as much about money.
they never ask.
They
Yeah,
they never ask. And the comments and the commentary were all very interesting, but I do think in my opinion what it boils down to is in America, if you don't have money, your basic needs aren't going to be met. You're not going to have health care. You're not going to have a place to live. You're not going to have
mhm,
money for food. In the UK, that is not the case. There's a minimum baseline that you will get. Especially,
mhm.
you're not going to live in wealth, but you don't have to worry about your basic needs being met. So therefore, you don't have to worry as much about what money your partner makes or does not make. I that was my conclusion. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna be in debt to be treated for medical care. The NHS is there over there. So, like you said, basic needs. Yeah, that is it. I found that very interesting, but it's the world we live in. So Paul, when he sits with Dr. Paz, says out loud, "I know for sure Sean will be attracted to Nikki, but will she? Is that not enough?
For you to say we shouldn't do that.
Don't do this to her." Like, what? Mm. I was really annoyed, Aid. It's not fair. And she said she didn't have time. She's trying to have kids. She's 46. Ugh. So Lisa says, Lisa Pass says she's worried about ego and it's either going to explode in the worst way or it's going to explode in a beautiful way. I'm like, wait, what? Real people. They're not Steve's character that when it blows up, it doesn't matter. It's not real. Ah.
And like you understand that if it blows up, it could hurt somebody, like hurt somebody's
Oh,
feelings, hurt somebody's
oh.
psyche, hurt who cares? They're just like, who cares?
And not in private. We're all going to be watching it, talking about it. All right, the wedding's here. She has his ring, and I think she knows like his ring finger, and they're all like, "Oh, I already know he's gonna be tall." I'm like, "Oh my god,
I
this
don't
is
even know why they
not."
put that stuff in. They
They
look,
know.
that's where you're just like, you are not here for love. You are here to make a TV show.
Oh my god. So he sends her, like, she's like, "It's okay." They're like, "What if he's not?" She's like, "It's okay. I'll receive him as God made him." And that's the loophole. They're just like, "You said you would be fine and you be okay. He has all these qualities. Just give him time." So she gets her gift from him, and it's a sweet card with a pendant on there that has their wedding date on it. I guess it came from Nordstrom's because someone was like, "Oh, my girl doesn't shop anywhere but Nordstrom's." And also, maybe they should get the gifts before makeup because she's crying and she's crying up her makeup.
Yes.
So Sean is feeling positive. He says something about science and dreams, and he thinks it's going to work out. But Nikki looks fantastic. She looks so great in her wedding, her makeup, her hair. His mom comes in. His mom looks great too. He compliments his mom. He goes out and he actually greets the family. He's the only one who actually greeted the family when he walks down the aisle. I guess with age comes wisdom. And I will say, like, he is charismatic. That was my
Yeah.
thought at the time. He was charismatic. He was going along. So they come down and she's just saying, "Hi, hi, hi." She's very nervous. She turns to her family and then she stands there and she's like, "I guess I'm just going to wait here for my husband." I think that was a joke, but I think she was also like, "Is this really my husband?" What do you think she meant?
I don't know what she meant.
So, from the way they edited it, I don't know what she was thinking, but the way I interpreted it, she did not look happy. And also, she kissed her mom and she has lipstick on her face, and no one thought,
Yes.
"Hey, let's wipe that off
It
and
was
let's try this
bothering me.
again."
It was
Yeah.
bothering me.
So that's it. They left us in a cliffhanger, and we were left to wonder what Nikki was feeling because we knew Sean was happy. So, yeah. Any last thoughts for them?
No. I have sorry guys, I have to save my all my thoughts for the next episode.
Okay. All right. So, who has your bouquet for this episode?
Oh, that's okay. Even though I listened to you and Brittany, I was like, you must be prepared for this. I completely forgot. Um, you know what? I'm gonna give it to Belle Jolie.
Okay.
I
Four.
just feel like she came with positivity. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that if I was in her same situations, I would don't think I could be that positive. I think I'd be annoyed and cranky. I just
Yeah.
feel like she just does the best to put the most positive spin on everything, and I like that about her. So she can have my bouquet for this episode.
Okay.
Who got yours?
Felipe and Tori. They just made me happy. They just seem to get along well. The family get along. The way the mom was just like, "This is real. This is a dream." It just made me, it gave me the fuzzies, the warm and fuzzies. And I was like, "This is nice. This is why the show happens." So, who has your ashes?
I don't want to take it away from you if it's yours though.
It's okay.
Uh, Logic, the clown. Like I just don't care. I of all the things that he did, the part where he put down his son is the
Yeah.
one that bothers me the most. The one
Yeah.
that gives him the full tray of the ashes. I just didn't care for him or his presence. I don't think he's a. I think he's. I think that though. I do think that he loves his child, and I wish that he
Yeah.
would do some introspection so that he could be a better father.
That ship has sailed.
It's
Now he's on
never
a
too
TV
late.
show.
It's never
Okay.
too late.
Okay.
Who has
Okay.
yours?
The matchmakers for doing Nikki like that. Like that really pissed me off. Like I immediately once that happened, I immediately wrote that down because I did not want to forget. I was just like, I understand on paper and sometimes do you remember when we interviewed Dr. Pepper and we asked about it and she was like, "Oh, it's about the things that you need, not necessarily the things that you want, but sometimes respect the things that people ask for because it makes them more open to go further." So I'm just like, it was two things at that point. She asked for the income, she asked for a certain thing physically. And yes, she said, "Oh, I don't mind, but we could read between the lines." And they
If
did
we
this to
can
her.
read, why can't you? That's the
Yeah,
other thing I wish the experts would take some responsibility for. People say all kinds of things, but you should be doing more than just listening to what they say and holding them to it. You should be watching for body language.
Yeah.
Unspoken cues. And
Yeah.
instead you're like, "Ooh, that's all we're supposed to know." No, my second, if there had been a second place, I was just gonna do for Paul, both for the January 6th
Mm-hmm.
like nonsense, and for
Mm-hmm.
yes, and for the average income is 64,000 in America. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's not forget, Paul knows because, again, I quote, he said, I know Sean is going to be attracted, but will Nikki? So he knew. So, okay. So that's it. And episode 3 will be coming out, and Aid is going to be joining me for that. So check that out. As always, let me know your comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know who has your bouquet and who has your ashes. You know how to find me, whichever is your social media of choice. Tane Talks, that's what it is. You can find me there, DM, comments, all of that. And until next time, I'll talk to you then. Bye.
Five, four, three, two, one.
Tane Talks.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.